Pay to play, you thought it was a thing of the past. It's not. It's here. It's here to stay. In the performing world, maybe even in the guitar shop world, which we'll get into a little bit later. But what really struck our fancy was this post we saw.
That's right.
By Lone Stars Booking. You can play the Whiskey A Go-Go, the famous Whiskey A Go-Go, for $5,000 for a 30-minute opening slot for some of your favorite bands like Enough's Enough.
You're not getting paid $5,000. You're paying, just to clarify.
Let me back up.
Just to clarify, because I think anyone's like, damn, a 30-minute spot and we get $5,000. No, you pay $5,000.
No, and when we first heard this, I was aghast.
Yeah.
But then you start thinking about it, like maybe it's not so jarring and shocking. Let's talk about why maybe. So, where do artists make their money nowadays?
All the records they sell, the physical copies.
Is that you have records, physical records?
That's a lie. Streaming. They make all their money from streaming.
Oh.
They make all their money, if they make any money, from merch when they're touring.
And touring, right? So this is
sort of.
So okay, so where this actually kind of does maybe make sense is it could jumpstart your merch sales. You know, it's tough for one night to like recomp. Whiskey Go is not that big. We got to factor in how many seats, how many people are going to buy your merch for the unknown band that's opening. But it could happen. Taylor Swift used to like crush opening acts. That's why when she was offered to jump into like headlining, and she was like, no, I want to keep opening for a little bit longer, because she would sell so much merch. Because she would open, rush to the merch stand and sell it. They'd be doing like 6 figures of merch for all those beginning years, just a night.
I mean, I remember being like at a publishing workshop thing, where they were talking about everything was changing, and you couldn't just write songs and get cuts on people's albums anymore, and that they held up Taylor Swift as sort of like how much, like they averaged it out per head at the show.
Yes.
Like she was making like $20-some per person
in merch
average. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't remember the exact number, but it was something like that.
Which
like, wow.
I'm a big fan of. I like that people are really buying artist merch, I think, more now than ever. It's become sort of a special thing, and you can only get that merch at that show or in that city at certain points. Like,
it's cool.
I think that's a neat thing. Now, the artist side of me was sort of just, again, taken aghast by the idea that you have to pay to play, because we all like the fantasy.
That you're amazing, and then your favorite band says, "Oh my God, come be on the road with us," and then you're a superstar.
Now I know someone who got to do this for a superstar. I'm not going to say the superstar's name. They're from UK, and it's like it starts with an Ed and ends with a Sheeran.
Oh yeah.
But they got to open for that artist too. Like, it cost them a lot of money. It wasn't they weren't like paying Ed. They just had to pay for their own touring mechanisms. So like they had tour buses, facility fees, food, craft services. Like they're chipping into all those sort of parts of the opening. It was like, so, you're what, about $250,000 in to go open that slot sometimes, but you are selling merch, a lot of merch hopefully, and you're boistering fans.
That's the idea, right?
You're getting in front of anywhere from 20 to 50,000 people an evening.
I mean, I can remember way back early 2000s, like 2008, 2009. I was playing for a Christian artist, and we were tied into like his radio. And opening for some quite a few national acts coming through, and there were offers to go on like little legs of tours with some of these bands, but because we weren't on the same label, we would have to pay. I remember one of them, they wanted him to pay for the lighting on the shows.
Okay.
Which is like thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? These are
it's not like paying me to operate your lighting rig, which
No.
happens. So I just do that for fun when I'm at somebody's show. I'll do the lights. It's easy.
But yeah, somebody's paying for that, and I think a lot of times if maybe you are on the major label with a bigger band and you get put on there, it's still being paid, right? It's just the label benefits for having all their artists on that show.
There's a lot more behind the scenes than we all think. Like as far as like the hidden costs and how this all works. I always thought it was like, your favorite band. This happened for me in my band. We didn't have to pay all these things. It was different. It's the early 2000s. But it was also an indie band world of like bands that are doing really well. Like, hey, you want to open for us? Cool. You just go and open for them for a bit, and it was fun. We're all bros. You're playing 30-minute sets, which was perfect.
And I think that still happens.
It
you know
does.
what I mean? Like our pal Jordan Foley went and opened for the Wallflowers not too long ago, and I think that was that kind of deal.
Pretty awesome.
Like and I think that happens when like they're coming through your hometown, and you do that one show. I think it's less when you're jump on a tour with them, you know?
Yeah, but
Because there's just more involved in that.
or even I know some young artists like that. You know, like I've talked to Zach Person, who if you haven't checked him out, is
Yep.
one of our favorite young artists. He does some great opening slots for some pretty big bands, but the pay is not always what you think it would be. Like they're playing in front of thousands of people. You're probably going to make more money. You definitely will make more money playing at the local coffee shop.
Oh, yeah.
Because you don't have to travel. Because the travel's on you.
Yeah.
A lot of times too, if you're opening, it's not. They don't put you in hotels. They give you a fee per night. They might get a per diem for food.
Maybe. But the takeaway is if you're not paying you, maybe you did better than you thought. I mean, I think a lot of those things, right? Like a lot of those opening for Blackberry Smoke, which is amazing. I would love to go open for Blackberry Smoke. But like, especially the Whiskey Go-Go. I think it's almost more to put on your website, played at the Whiskey Go-Go. You know, it's almost like your resume building.
Well, and I see that a lot in the classical side too, or like the sort of show tune, where like played at Carnegie Hall.
Right.
You can rent Carnegie Hall out. Let me just burst that bubble. A lot of people do that, and like, hey, I played at Carnegie Hall. We sold out. There's different rooms at Carnegie as well, and you're not. It's different, but that's how almost all venues work. And we're going to enter phase 2 of this video momentarily. Like when an artist plays at Radio City Music Hall or something, they are renting that place.
Well, dude,
not free.
have you watched I'm sure you love him, so you've watched the Joe Bonamassa documentary.
I have not.
No, it's actually
I've not seen it.
It's interesting.
You like him.
But that was their whole play early on, was to basically do the Royal Albert Hall that way, and to talk Clapton into coming to sit in, and that in a lot of ways did launch. You know,
But it is, because I remember that show, and it was
Yep.
such a like, oh man, like that put him on the books for me too, mentally.
It did and then that version of Further On Down the Road is still, a lot of people still point to that.
Well,
So,
I think
wow,
that's
was
such a
amazing.
great show. I love Royal Albert Hall. It's one of the
Well, me
greatest
too.
venues. My sort of fantasy venue to play. If I could just like,
God, that would be
if I could
amazing.
play the background or the opening slot for the Wiggles, at Royal Albert Hall, sign me up. Seriously, if you guys are out there too, let me just play background guitar for you or something. I would love it.
He can do every song that's ever been on Paw Patrol.
I can do that too. Or Hot Potato, I can play it
Whatever.
ad nauseum.
Whatever.
Okay, so we're getting into phase 2 of video now. Let's interject where this all sort of mingles with the guitar shops
Yes.
as well. So we look at guitar shops and we go to guitar shows. And so Derek was making a decent point of, well, we're kind of paying to play to get in front of a different audience at the guitar shows as well. And maybe we are.
And,
You know, and we're paying to play by getting in front of an audience here on YouTube in a strange way, by spending the time, the resources, the money to make these videos, and hopefully people enjoy them. But the guitar shows is a physical representation of that too. Like, if any of you've been to guitar shows, like by show of hands, let me know. I was just thinking I could see it. I was in class, but no, it is fast because like most of the people at guitar shows are not guitar shops though.
No.
It's maybe 20 to 30%. Maybe it's
There may be individual, like
Sellers.
independent sellers kind of things.
that don't
you know?
have a physical shop,
Right.
and don't want to deal with like the heavyweight of that. So like they're just going there to sell guitars. It's fun. They might do this as a living, just going to guitar shows, but they don't have a physical showroom, like where they and that's
Right.
and that's a little different. Or individual sellers, totally different. Or you get the guys in the carts walking around with their guitars, like with pictures of what's inside the case if any of the people want to buy it or trade, which is really sad when you see that last person walking around for like the 30th round and no one's bought their guitar.
Now here's hearing you say all those things. Here's what pops the question into my brain now.
Pop it.
Is so the guitar show is like the physical going out and opening for a band, like a bigger band, like the analog, the real world.
Right.
This is like a band paying to get on playlists on Spotify and having a YouTube presence.
that's a good
like
point.
so like which one makes more sense? Like let's say you got $5,000 and you can either go open for some big band at the Whiskey Go-Go, who's probably past their heyday, to be honest. If you're able to
Don't
pay,
you talk junk enough's enough.
I'm sorry. Or you could pump that into sort of like trying to have the algorithm feed your stuff to people. Like my buddy brought up this band called the band Feel the other day, and I knew of them only because Instagram is constantly saying
Feel or Fuel?
Feel.
Okay, I was like, I know about
F-E-E-L.
Fuel, obviously.
And I was like, oh, I've heard of them, but it's because I see them.
It was like Mo
Instagram.
became like, you saw that. So
Yeah.
I would say hands down, I think we're in agreement with that. Your money spent on the digital world is going to be a lot better spent. to
Even
try-
though I hate that because I like to go play live.
I know, but there's a combination.
But you're
too.
right, you
But
know?
to break a band, like the idea of just touring and like doing these things, you're gonna all of a sudden get famous overnight. That's not really a thing that happens that often anymore. It didn't happen back in the day as much as people think.
You
either.
just thought it was overnight, you know. But
Overnight's usually 10 years.
yeah.
But no, it really does help you that you gotta, for these pop stars to like, they gotta have like a moment, like on like a TikTok, a YouTube, a Spotify song that just blows up and everyone's
Right.
listening to it. Like, and everyone could be thousands of people. The right people listening to it matters. But then you gotta have the show to deliver.
Yeah.
Or getting those huge opening spots like the Taylor Swift ones, like from Sabrina Carpenter to like my favorite of Paramore there, which I was thrilled to watch that happen. I was like, what is happening? I didn't know Paramore played this big of crowds. And I was like, oh, they're opening. Because I saw videos of Paramore. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, Lord. They're playing in the giant arenas and it was great. And Hayley Williams still looks amazing. The band looks great. They sound
Yeah.
great. They move great. It was cool to see that getting a second wind. But that's, I would spend it on the digital.
Well, the big spots don't always work out. There was a band that I loved early 2000s called Need to Breathe that opened
yeah.
for Taylor Swift for a while.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure I don't know how much that actually, like I'm sure they had a bump initially, but I don't know how much that moved the needle for them.
Well, it's just like the
long-term.
American Idol
She
or
just
the
liked
Voice bump too. Like
Right.
you get like a small little bump, and if you don't capitalize on it within 3 months, that little bump is gone.
I mean, that's such a. I mean, I saw that over and over and over again playing in Nashville with people who were coming off of that. And obviously Zach has had, but I forget that Zach even had any. You know what I mean? To me, Zach's
so
just out
long
there
ago.
crushing it,
I know.
right?
I don't.
You know,
I was like, oh my God, he was on that thing.
And I think he did the best thing he could, getting himself away from that. You know, I think that was the best scenario.
So like sort of wrapping up, like let us know, like would you pay to play? And like at first I was horrified by it. But I was like,
Absolutely not.
maybe it makes sense in a weird
Maybe.
way. Certain situations it does make
Yeah.
sense. Would you do it? Would you spend your money on digital marketing? What do you think about guitar shows? Have you been to them? Like, is that kind of, do you look at that as a whole pay to play thing? I don't, it's not in the same way, but there's something there.
Yeah.
But it's like, it's fun too. It's like, how does it all connect? I think it's fascinating.
It is fascinating.
It's fascinating. It's been like, it was payola back in the radio days. It still is payola too.
It still is.
Don't kid yourself
It's
and
all-
think that.
it's all the same.
There isn't like this big brother telling you what you got to listen
We
to.
got
on-
these box seats for this football game. I don't know if you guys would be interested.
Or like Spotify and Apple Music,
all
it's
the
all
same.
just, it's all authentic, and it's not, they're not pumping artist status that, there's a thing.
AI artists.
There's I'm not even gonna get into that deep dark well.
AI jazz. Yeah.
Oh Lord. Thank you for joining us. Click like, subscribe.
Hit the bell.
Have a wonderful day and peace be with you.
Goodbye.